Hello, everybody. Welcome back to L-Space. My name is Tristan, and I am here for another tag video. I was tagged by Nicole over at Noteworthy Fiction, and thank you so much for tagging me. I very much enjoyed your response, and I feel like if you haven't watched Nicole's channel, Nicole is great. Nicole reads so many just gigantic books that I am impressed and always. I mean, this is a tag video about intimidating books, but I'm always intimidated by just how much she's able to read at any given time. But anyway, so this is the intimidating books tag, and apparently I'm honestly just going to take Nicole's word for it. The original tagger of this one just is not. That video no longer exists, so it's kind of hard to figure out who exactly created this tag. If somebody does know, let me know in the comments, and I can retroactively credit them in the description box below. But without further ado, let us get into which books are intimidating to me. So the first one is a book that you have not been able to finish. And I have a stack of all of my really intimidating books over here. The first one is The Golden Bowl by Henry James. And it's not that I mean, it is kind of that I have been unable to finish it. But Henry James's writing is just very dense, and it's very... What is even the word for it? It's difficult, okay? You have to very much sit down with it and focus for a long time. And it takes a long time to read through it if you're not used to his style, which I am not. And it's not that I wasn't enjoying it. It was just the action of reading it became a little bit monotonous and a little too arduous, I guess, for me to keep going at the time. I do plan to finish this because, again, I like the story and I like a lot of the things that were going on in the book. But this is one that I just simply have not been able to finish for a while. So yeah, I really want to, but not at the moment. So the second question is a book that you haven't read because you have not had the time. And that one is Les Misérables by Victor Hugo in French, specifically. Now, I have 3 volumes of Les Mis, which, of course, is a much longer book. Each one of these is roughly about 500 pages. And I just haven't had time to get into this one. For me, reading in French is slow. It just takes a little bit more time because it's my second language. This is an older style of French that, even though I studied it in my master's degree, it still takes a little bit of time to get through. Just like with Henry James, that takes a while to get through in English. This takes a while to get through in French. But I really do love everything that I've read so far out of this one. I have started this a while back. I honestly got to like page 20, but I was obsessed with it. So I very much want to get back into it. I'm also looking at it and like seeing how small the font is. Like, look at how tiny that is. Teeny tiny. But anyway, so yeah, I would very much like to read Les Misérables, but I gotta do it in French. I can't do it in English, and I just haven't had the time to do it. But anyway. So the next one is a book that you have not picked up because it's a sequel, and that is pretty easy. That is Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan. I read the first 3, right? Because this is book 4, right? Yes, I read the first 3 Wheel of Time books, and I liked them. They're fine. But you know, I have a lot of other books that I would much rather get to, and devoting the rest of my time devoting the amount of time that it takes to get through the other 11 books in this series, which are sometimes longer than this. Yeah, I just haven't picked it up. I'm also a little bit apathetic at this point about the series. Yeah, I don't know. I may get around to it. I may also just never get to the Wheel of Time ever again. But yeah, I have not gotten to that one because it's a sequel. I read the first 3 and I thought those were fine, and anyway. Controversial opinion, especially amongst the fantasy people. Hi, Doug. The next one is a book that you have not picked up because it's newer. And this is Hours by Philip B. Williams. I bought this, I think, like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and it just isn't on my immediate TBR, but I do very much plan to pick this one up. It looks fantastic. The couple pages that I've read in it they're written really well. I like the style very much, and the content sounds fantastic. But yeah, it is another big book. I realize that a lot of these books are just really big. So yes, this is one that I have not picked up because it's newer. The next one is a book that you've not picked up because you've read a book by the same author and didn't like it. And that could have also filled the prompt for because it's a sequel, and that is Find Me by Andre Aciman. I hate it. Hate it. Call Me By Your Name, and I will always talk about how much I hate that book. I feel like it's very insulting to the gay community, and it is just a horrible piece of fiction, and I hate it so much. And so I will not be reading Find Me, because I know that it's a sequel to Call Me By Your Name, and I would rather die than have to read that godforsaken book. So, yes, will not be reading that one anytime soon, or hopefully ever. Yeah. Next is a book that you've just not been in the mood for, and that is Homegoing by Ya Gyasi. And this is another one that I've started and just have not finished because I have not been in the mood for it. I was having a hard time connecting with the writing style. I like the fact that it is a more or less like linear chronological narrative that is made up of what is effectively a bunch of different short stories centering different characters, but they're all following the same narrative, and it's cool as a concept, and I like a lot of things that are going on, but again, I was just having a hard time connecting to the actual writing of it. I found it to be a little boring. But again, I was just not in the mood for it. Will I pick it up again? Yeah, probably. But for the time being, I am still not in the mood for it. Next is Because It's Humongous. And again, I could have done Les Mis, but I am doing Middlemarch by George Eliot. And I've heard nothing but good things about this one. It's just almost 800 pages long, and again, written in an older English style that I am a little bit intimidated to get into, but I've heard nothing but good things about this. It's one of my good friends, one of his favorite books, and yeah, I want to read it again, but just a little intimidated. Oh gosh. And then the last prompt for my video is the most intimidating book on your TBR, and that is Le Rouge et le Noir by Stendhal, and this, I still have my bookmark. Now, I have not started this one. This is one of the most important books to come out in the 19th century, and it kind of encompasses all of the 19th century of French literature, I should specify. And it kind of just encompasses everything that was going on in France during that period, socially, politically, all of those things, literarily. And I think I'm just a little intimidated by it because one of my sort of subspecialties is 19th century French literature, and what if I read this and I like don't get it, right? It's a very intimidating prospect that I don't get it, and this is like my specialty. So I don't know. And then again, it's a little bit, it's an older style of French. The font is really small again, and this is another pretty beastly book. It's what? Let's see. It's 500 pages, which like I'm not a stranger to reading books that are about 500 pages, but I know that this is going to take me quite a while to get through, but I'm still really want to. Still very interested. But yeah, that is currently the most intimidating book on my TBR. It keeps calling to me, and I really do want to read it, but for whatever reason, I just keep getting a little bit put off every time I reach for it. But yeah, so those are the books that I picked out for each of these ones. I could also easily add Le Voyage au bout de la nuit by Céline. That one definitely could easily be one of the most intimidating books on my TBR, or on my shelf, just in general, for a lot of the same reasons. Like, that one's a 20th century book. It's an anti-war book. It's anti World War II, and it's a very important book of the 20th century. But, like, the 20th century, just, like, there's so much stuff that happens in the literary sphere in that one that a lot of times I just don't have the patience for. So that one's also a little bit like that, but for all intents and purposes, I'm sticking with Le Rouge et le Noir for that one, which also, translates to the red and the black, which should be pretty easy. They're just colors. But, yeah, those are the most intimidating books for me. I'm not really intimidated by Find Me by Andre Aciman. I hate that it exists. Incensed, angry, I don't know. Not intimidated. It's kind of a weird pick for that, but whatever. I will be tagging some people down in my description box if they would like to respond and post their own list of books that they find particularly intimidating. This one actually was a lot of fun to do because it kind of made me a little bit more aware of the books on my TBR, on my shelf, and also how I'm feeling about each one. Just being a little bit more conscious, I guess mindful about those was kind of fun. So anyway, thank you very much, Nicole, for tagging me. I will be back very soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.